Greetings and welcome to another Tomorrow's World webcast. My name is Wallace Smith. It's wonderful to be here, and I've been chomping at the bit to talk about this particular item ever since I first heard about it some time back, just a little bit ago. This is a Washington Post article. I'm going to read the title. It was published May 31st by the Washington Post online. The title is, "Grief Over Gorilla's Death Turns to Outrage. Prosecutor's Office to Meet with Police." Now, as the title probably indicates, it deals with this recent event at the Cincinnati Zoo where a 3-year-old child, not a 4-year-old like some reports said, a 3-year-old child, creatively made his way into the gorilla enclosure there. Has this deep moat in it with water. Gorilla was down there with the child, a big male, more than 400 pounds, this endangered gorilla species. You see footage, I've seen it online, of the gorilla dragging the child through the moat from place to place. Some people feel that maybe he was trying to drag the child away from the crowds to do who knows what. But it wasn't a gentle thing. This child is being dragged across a concrete moat with a bit of water in it, just head bouncing around in the rest. Other reports, I think I read some on CNN, said they actually saw the gorilla toss the child a bit. How strong is this gorilla? Actually, the zoo director, Thane Maynard, actually made a comment about that because these animals, we don't give them enough credit for how incredibly strong and powerful they are. He points out that he's seen this animal crush a coconut in its hand. Have you ever tried to crush a coconut? I personally haven't, but it is very difficult. These are immensely powerful animals. So there's a lot of concern out there, but what concern does this article focus on? It's a concern we're going to focus on, but maybe for different reasons. It says here in the article, the gorilla's death unleashed an outpouring of grief over the holiday weekend. Within hours, that grief had turned to fury as critics questioned the zoo's decision to kill the endangered 17-year-old gorilla named Harambe and called for the boy's parents to be punished for not adequately supervising their child. If you're not aware, that's what they had to do. They couldn't tranquilize the gorilla because tranquilizers take time. The animal would be even that much more unpredictable and disoriented. They had to shoot that gorilla to save that child and to remove that child from danger. And there has been outrage that the gorilla was shot. In particular, if I can make it through this without my head exploding, we're going to finish these 2 points. It says a Facebook page called, quote, Justice for Harambe, again, that's the name of the gorilla, Justice for Harambe, received more than 41,000 likes within hours of its creation. The page's description says it was created to, quote, raise awareness of Harambe's murder, and includes YouTube tributes and memes celebrating the western lowland gorilla and admonishing zoo officials. Now that's bad enough. We'll get to why that's bad enough in a minute. But the next statement is the piece de resistance. It's just, I almost fail at words. It says, and this is a quote from someone actually on the site apparently, a commenter from Denmark. I'm not even going to say this person's name. The commenter's name is actually in the article, but it's a shameful comment, and I don't want to spread the guilt of this guy or the shame this person should have. The following says this: shooting an endangered animal is worse than murder. So angry. And the commenter put lots of O's. Shooting an endangered animal is worse than murder. You have got to be kidding me. That is moral insanity to make a statement like that. Frankly, so is the other, calling the shooting of this gorilla murder. It's just not. How do I know? Well, let's look at some real live facts. 1, shooting this animal is not murder. How do we know? What is murder? How do we even understand what's the difference between murder and simply killing an animal? God tells us. After the flood, God gave Noah very specific instructions, and one of them concerned essentially defining murder. You find it in Genesis chapter 9 and verse 6. God says, whoever sheds man's blood, by man his blood shall be shed. Why? He says, for in the image of God He made man. No other creature in this world is made in the image of God. Only mankind, man and woman. That includes this gorilla. If it's an animal, if it's not a human being, I'm sorry, it's not murder. And calling this, we want justice for Harambe, and we want to raise attention concerning Harambe's murder. That is at the very least moral incompetence, if it's not moral insanity. But definitely the next statement qualifies. It says, what was the statement? Shooting an endangered animal is worse than murder. I am sorry, that is not true. Murder is infinitely worse than killing an animal. In fact, the murder of any human being on the planet is infinitely worse than the killing of any animal on the planet. Because only man is made in the image of God. And I'm sorry, if that's the state where we are today, if that is where our civilization is, that someone can make a statement like that, folks, that is moral insanity. And buckle up, because all signs indicate it's doing nothing but getting worse. Thanks for watching. Please check out everything we have available at tomorrowsworld.org.